Today's show is a bit of an obstacle course. It truly is, and it's by design. So if you can't handle the curves that I'm going to put you through here, the changes, I don't know. Anyway, I'm going to try. I'm going to try my best to make this as clear as possible. Because what I've talked about before is about difference versus better. That a lot of times what we're getting here is something that's slightly better in increments, in very small increments. And I'm the sort of audiophile in my personal journey where I'm looking for difference. I want a very different sound. I go from one sound to another, to another, to another, because they're all imperfect. None of them sounds truly like live music, which is the goal, at least for me. And this is all happening because I'm reviewing two sets separately of very different sounding speakers. The first one is the Ohm Walsh 1000, and that review will be coming up in just a couple of days. It's an omnidirectional speaker, spread sound in 360 degrees horizontally. And the way it energizes a room is completely different than a conventional box speaker, the kind that almost all audiophiles listen to, and I've listened to for most of my life. And the second speaker that I'm going to talk about briefly, just as a starter here, is the Pure Audio Project Duet 15 Prelude, which is an open baffle speaker. Now, I've reviewed both companies' products before, but not so close in time to each other. And that's why it's kind of ricocheting around my brain. That going back to a box speaker, like the one I'm looking at across the room, the Buckhart S400 Mark II, it's a wonderful, wonderful speaker. But it sounds more like a speaker playing music than the Ohm speaker or the Pure Audio Project, which sound less speaker-like. Maybe that's the easiest way to describe it in words, right? I wish I could do a sound demo to convince you, but somehow those things never really work. They never work for me, sound demos on YouTube. So I'm not going to attempt it now or ever for all sorts of reasons, but the primary reason is you can't hear the sound of one speaker over another speaker. It's a strange idea. But anyway, I'm digging both of these speakers because they sound so unspeaker-like. They are unspeakers. But expanding this discussion today beyond just speakers is I want audiophiles to consider this idea of, instead of shooting for incremental changes from, as you're upgrading your amplifier or speakers or something, to go from one speaker to a slightly better speaker, or one amplifier to a slightly better amplifier, or DAC or turntable or something. Yes, you will hear differences. They will be more dynamic, more transparent, better imaging, blah, 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 blah. But these are relatively small changes that don't really change that much in the way you feel about it. Because what happens is you make a change. I know you've all been there. I've been there. You make a change. It's really exciting. It's really different. And then after a month or two or three or four, it becomes the norm. And the difference it made is no longer relevant. It's no longer really audible, and it doesn't move you. It doesn't move the table. It doesn't move you musically any different than the previous one did. That's the scary part. That's the scary part, that you can put a lot of money in and hear a change, and then the change fades and it's not so different. So you need to make changes that are bigger changes. That's what I want for you. For example, if you've only listened to digital in your entire life as an audiophile or as a human being on planet Earth, you've never really dipped your toe into analog. If you make that change from digital to analog, you will hear a very large difference. And it is the kind of difference that lasts. It's not about being more transparent or more this or more that. No, it just engages you in a very different way. I mean, I've been in the audio game for a really long time, and the difference between listening to digital and analog never, ever, ever becomes you don't just get used to it. They're very different experiences. When I listen to vinyl, I really find it much easier to focus on the music. Now, when I listen to digital, the best of it, my mind is more likely to wander. And that's the main way I can describe the difference, is that analog engages me and digital does to a lesser extent. And that's never changed over time. For the 40 years that digital has been on the planet, and for consumers, that is still true. So if you've grown up with digital and never tried analog, give it a shot. And by the way, I hear people saying now that that's a bad time to get into analog for, I don't know. No, it isn't. It's a great time. It's always a good time. Matter of fact, the entry-level turntables, like from Fluence and U-Turn and Riga, or Music Hall, those are terrific turntables. They're better than budget turntables were 20 or 30 or 50 years ago. Absolutely. So from the turntable point of view, it's a good time. Cartridges are great. Some really cheap Grado cartridges are wonderful. So the cartridges are Audiophile cartridges. Yeah, no worries on the hardware side. For vinyl, new vinyl, I'm not the biggest proponent of new releases, but if you're into older music, yard sales, found on the street, churches, whatever, there's no shortage of really great vinyl out there for good prices. And if you're looking for a specific kind of music or a band or something, Discogs is just incredible. And I use it all the time. And I love going to used record stores just for the fun of it, and circling. But if I'm looking for something specific, when I go to used record stores, it's just like whatever happens, happens. But if I'm looking for something specific, Discogs, I love it. I probably bought 40 albums on Discogs this year. So anyway, I'm really into that. So yeah, but on the other side, if you've only been an analog person, I think you should try digital. First of all, streaming, you can just explore different genres of music and it's amazing. So if you're still holding on to analog, go digital. I'm giving you the contrary advice, because for music exploration, digital cannot be surpassed because it's effortless. You hear something interesting, I want to check out soundtracks, I want to get into Congo music, whatever it is, damn, it's right there. And if you're want to stay in the world of just box speakers, conventional box speakers with woofers and tweeters on the baffle, and you've never heard vintage ones, a Tannoy from the 1970s, and I was like, wow, this speaker was amazing, or old Klipschorns or something, One of my friends has a pair of 40-year-old Klipschler Scalas that he keeps banging on to try to, make them new or make them sound better. They're incredible. So change, difference. That's what I want you guys to consider. Not incremental changes like the new one is a little better than the old one, that the LS50 Meta sounds better. It does sound better than the original LS50, but it's an incremental change. It's the same thing. Matter of fact, if you own original LS50s and you're tempted to go for LS50 Metas, well, but a better thing to do is to upgrade your amplifier driving the LS50 that you currently own, or go from analog to digital or digital to analog or something else. You get the drift. Small changes, they fade too quickly. Big changes last. Absolutely. So speaking of big changes, it is now time for the Audiophiliac viewer system of the day. Hey, this one comes from David, and it's a DIY system, I believe. The speakers are Hart Audio SS, also Tannoy 12-inch monitor gold drivers in custom cabinets. The reel-to-reel is a Revox A77, and there's also a Wurlitzer Tarok jukebox with an MC75 Shure cartridge. Now, the turntable looks pretty serious. It's a Technics SP25 with an exclusive PA70 11-inch tone arm and Hart Audio Lapis moving coil cartridge. There's also Hart HW vibration eliminator isolators. There's a Revox H1 cassette deck, a Revox H2 CD player, and CD files are on 2 iPods. There's 30,000 tracks on those iPods. But wait, there's more. There's also an SM-SL DAC, 4 SM-SL SA98E amps spread over 2 rooms. Yikes, there's a lot going on there, David. Hey, you're still here. Thank you. My name is Steve Guttenberg, and I am the Audiophiliac. If you dig it, if you like what I'm doing here on the channel, please consider joining my Patreon. The address is right there on the screen. Check it out. See if it fits for you. You can join for a month or two, or some people join and stay forever, and that's fantastic. But anyway, it's all good. It is all good. And speaking of all good, you could subscribe to the channel if you have yet to join the over 220,000 people who have already pressed that subscribe button. And when you do, hit the notification bell so you'll be notified every time there's a brilliant new episode. And you'll be notified when they're not so brilliant too. All right, so thank you again for watching, and I really do hope to see you back here again very, very soon. Bye-bye.